Hello there, Master Hellish here, and welcome back to my Railroad tutorial series. For more information about me, head over to my website, masterhellish.net, and this video of course is part of a series, so the link to the playlist is in the description. This time we will be looking at contracts. The contracts can be found by the contracts button on the left hand side. From here you can see the current offered contracts, and there's a button to view the active contracts. Now there are two main types of contract. Here you can see that there is a two loopy arrow icon next to the number of this contract. In fact, it's the same for each one. That's because these contracts are all reoccurring contracts. Once you've unlocked them, it's possible to get one-off contracts. Reoccurring contracts are exactly that. They reoccur over and over again, forever and ever and ever, until you either cancel the contract or you fail so badly it gets cancelled for you. A one-off contract is a train that does one journey and that's all. There are three main types of trains: commuter trains, intercity trains, and freight trains. From the beginning you'll get reoccurring commuter and intercity trains, and once you've unlocked them you'll be able to get one-off freight and one-off intercity trains as well. While the game is paused you will not be offered new contracts, but whilst you are in the play mode or any of the multiple speed modes you will see new contracts coming into this offered contracts window. If the offered contracts window is not open, but you get offered a contract, you will get a notification on the contract button. So here you go, we now have two new contracts in our contracts window, and we've got a little number 2 in a little circle there, giving us a notification that we've got some new contracts to check out. If we open them up, we can see that they're here at the top of the list. This one here we cannot accept. It says we need to build at least one platform in every contract station to be able to accept. Now, that goes from Landover to Columbia to Riverdale, and it's quite right. We haven't got any platforms at Columbia. So here you have one of a few choices. You can either build platforms at Columbia and extend your rail network into it, or you could decline the contract. Or maybe you could decide to keep it in your offered contracts list for later on if you think it's a good contract that you want to do in the future. However, there is a limit to the number of contracts you can have in this offered contracts window, and you can see we have reached it now. It says there's 5 offered contracts and our limit has been reached, so we need to decline some. I'm going to do that now. I'm going to decline this one because, well, I'm not planning on expanding to Columbia anytime soon. Down here there's another one where it says it wants me to go to Columbia. Nope, not doing that right now, thank you very much. That leaves me with these 3 to choose from. Now I need to look at how much money we might get from this. At the moment it's saying we might get up to 1,000 credits for each service that runs. This one's 5 and that one's 4. Now the more credits you get, the better, but there's also other things to take into consideration. One of them is the train's target speed. The slower your train runs on the network, the less you'll be able to reach the target speed. And if you don't reach the target speed, you won't get a good slice of that money. It may be better to try and reach this £4,000 target at a lower speed of 62 kilometers per hour compared to trying to reach a 5,000 target at 81, especially when your lines are very slow and have not been upgraded. One of the other things you want to take into consideration when choosing contracts is the penalisations. You can see here that these ones are 600 per minute if the train is late, and we get 600 and 200 for a wrong platform. This one down here is quite harsh. If you are late you get 900 every minute and 500 for a wrong platform, but this one pays quite well compared to the target speed. It's all a matter of balance and choosing exactly what you want. Well, we've talked about declining contracts. I think it's about time we accepted one. When you accept one, a train will arrive immediately at a platform, or at least be available for arriving anyway. You need to be ready to work that train into your timetable at that point. Now, here we've got one going from Landover. I like this one, we're going to give it a go. and you can see that on the timetable down here, platform 1 is freely available. We can click the timetable button to have a good look, and we haven't got another train leaving on platform 1 until 11:30, so now's probably a good time to do it. Let's accept that. There we go. We accept the contract and the screen takes us to the correct station. Now we've accepted the contract, it's time to do the contract trial. We can click the station and tell it to accept the train on platform 1, and here it comes. We'll keep an eye on the network while our train does its first journey. I'm going to clear its signals and allow it to go. Let's make sure we've got those switches in the right way and set it on its way. You notice that Benning and Landover do not yet have platform numbers next to them. Let's just quickly get this East Market train going, it wants to get through. There we go. Yes, so those platform numbers on the trains for Benning and Landover are not present. That's because the first time the train runs in its trial, you get to choose the route and path and platforms that train will follow. So the first time you accept a contract and run a train, it's a trial. It's going to record the speed, tell you how well it does against the expectations, and you get to set these platforms. Once this train pulls into platform 3 at Benning, we'll see a 3 appear on the Benning symbol. There we go. Now it is at platform 3. Let's send this back, and we send it back to platform 2. So we go, yep, you go through there, and turn around. We reverse the train, and we'll speed up time so it heads back the other way. Once the train gets back to Landover, platform 2 will be put into its schedule there, and everything is all done and sorted. We just have to wait for the final contract conditions. This is the screen you'll get when your train has completed its first load of journeys. Now you can see here that we get a 60% rating for that journey, which means it wanted an average speed of 62 kilometers an hour and certain milestones along its way, and we managed to get 38 kilometers an hour, which means we get 2,500. So you don't always get that maximum value. It's actually relatively difficult to get that maximum value in the early stages of the game. It tells you here that it's mandatory that you do at least 5 trains before declining this contract, and that the penalisations are here. It's at this point we can choose to decline the contract. If we didn't do well and the payment's not good, we may decide just not to run this train again. This is the last chance you'll be able to get to decline it before you have to do those mandatory 5 trains. 60% is actually not too bad for this stage of the game, and I'm happy with $2.5 grand, so let's accept that contract. That train will now run every hour, and if we have a look at the Landover timetable, we'll be able to see that there it is coming in again just after our half 11 train at just gone 11:40. That's the next instance of that train, and it will repeat every hour. Lastly, we're going to look at managing your contracts. Over here on the contracts button, we can go to the active contract screen. Again, we've seen this before, but we're going to take a closer look now. In here we've got all sorts of useful information about our active contracts. We can see the type of train that they are, when they're next due, where they're going from and to, along with some other information there. You can use these little buttons on the top here to order by these columns. If you order by next due, you can have a look at what trains are going to be coming next. And you can work out which stations you need to look at. So we know that the next trains are going to be coming from Riverdale. In fact, the next 4 trains are going to be coming from Riverdale, then Landover and East Market. Once you get a lot in here, you can use these filters at the top here. I find it very useful just to go, well, I want to see all trains that are coming from Landover. And there we go, Landover. Or I can say I want to see all trains that are going to East Market. There we go, then we've got 1 at the moment. You might want to do this because you might want to find some trains that you want to get rid of, or maybe you want to just see how many you've got coming from somewhere. It's a good way to peruse the list and have a good look round and figure out what you want to do. Maybe you want to concentrate on filling in some gaps and try and get some more contracts for Landover, seeing we've only got 2, or maybe you want to reduce the number of contracts at Riverdale. Reducing contracts is when you can actually reject the active contract. Now there's certain states that those contracts can be in: active, fulfilled and accepted. Accepted is when you've done just that. You've accepted the contract, but yet it's not doing its normal loopy run. You've done the trial, but that's it. Or the trial's in progress. Active is when you have a number of trains that you have to meet before you can decline it without penalty. So if I click reject contract on this one, there is a penalisation that I'm asked to confirm. I'm going to say no. These ones up here are 3 of 3, which they are fulfilled. So I can reject these without any penalisation. I don't want to reject them, I want to keep them for now. So it's a good idea to try and only reject fulfilled services. However, if you've got one that's in some trouble and you need to get rid of it, you can do. The last bit here we're going to look at quickly is the rewards. You can see here that it shows you the reward you're getting for that service, plus the maximum that you could have achieved. So we can see the one that we recently accepted here, we could have got 4,000, but we managed to get 2,500 for the rewards. It also shows you your experience that you get for the reward of that particular contract, but we'll look at more at experience in a future video. So there we have it, all about contracts. In upcoming videos we have information all about money and experience, and we also talk about the various different upgrades in the game. So if you're not already subscribed, consider doing so for more Railroute and other games like this. Leave all your thoughts, ideas and questions down in the comments section below, and I will see you soon. Thank you very much for watching, and for now, goodbye.